Your to-do list is lying to you. And in 2026, with everything we now know about how human brains actually function, keeping one might be the single biggest mistake you're making every single day. We've all been told the same story since we were kids. Write it down, check it off, stay organized, stay productive. To-do lists are practically a religion at this point. Every productivity guru, every self-help book, every corporate training seminar hammers the same message home. If you want to get things done, you need a list. But what if that advice, repeated so many times it feels like gospel, is actually the thing quietly sabotaging your output, your focus, and your ability to do work that actually matters? Here's the uncomfortable truth that most productivity content won't touch. To-do lists, the traditional kind, the ones you've been using your whole life, are not just ineffective. They are actively working against you. And I'm going to show you exactly why that is, and more importantly, what to do instead. Let's start with the problem because it's bigger than most people realize. Think about the last to-do list you made. Really picture it. How many items were on it? 5, 12, 23? Now, how many of those items were genuinely equal in importance? Probably none of them. A to-do list treats respond to that one email with the exact same visual weight as finish the project that determines whether my company survives the next quarter. Both get a bullet point. Both get a checkbox. Your brain looks at that list and sees tasks, not priorities, not urgency levels, not real-world consequences, just tasks. And that's the first major failure point. The second problem is something psychologists have actually studied extensively, and it's called the completion bias. When you check something off a list, your brain releases a small hit of dopamine. It feels good. It feels like progress. So what do we naturally gravitate toward? The easy stuff, the quick wins, the items that take 2 minutes and give us the satisfaction of drawing a line through them. Meanwhile, the genuinely important, cognitively demanding work, the kind of work that actually moves the needle in your life or career, just sits there. Day after day, it gets pushed to tomorrow. You end the day feeling productive because you checked off 14 things, but the one thing that actually mattered never happened. In 2026, this problem has gotten dramatically worse. We are living in an environment of unprecedented task fragmentation. Between AI-generated notifications, collaborative platform pings, asynchronous video messages, smart device reminders, and the sheer volume of digital communication that now flows through a modern knowledge worker's day, the average person is dealing with somewhere between 60 and 100 potential tasks on any given day. A traditional flat list cannot handle that volume. It collapses under the weight of it. Instead of clarifying your day, it becomes a source of anxiety. You look at your list and you feel overwhelmed before you've even started. That cognitive load, the mental energy spent just processing and rereading a list, costs you something. It costs you the focused attention you need for the work itself. There's also a subtler psychological trap at play. The act of writing something on a to-do list can actually reduce your motivation to complete it. Research in this area suggests that when we articulate a goal and share it or record it, our brain sometimes interprets that act of recording as a step toward achievement. The intention feels like partial completion, so the list itself can create a false sense of momentum, a feeling that you're already in motion when in reality, you've just described the motion you intend to take. In 2026's hyper-scheduled, hyper-documented work culture, this trap is everywhere. People have beautiful systems, gorgeous Notion databases, color-coded apps, and stunning organizational frameworks, and somehow they're still not doing the work. So what does actually work? Let's talk about some real alternatives because I'm not here to just tear something down without building something better. The first approach is time blocking. And if you haven't fully committed to this yet, it will change your relationship with your day completely. Instead of a list of tasks that float around undefined in time, you assign every significant piece of work to a specific block of time in your calendar. Tuesday from 9 to 11 is deep work on the product roadmap. Wednesday from 2 to 3 is for all email and communication responses. Thursday morning is reserved for creative thinking only. When you do this, you stop managing tasks and start managing time, which is the actual finite resource you're working with. Your calendar becomes your operating system instead of a list that just grows endlessly. And crucially, when something new comes up, you don't just add it to a pile. You have to consciously decide where in your time it fits. which forces real prioritization in a way a to-do list never can. The second approach, and this one might seem strange at first, is building what some people call a not-to-do list. Instead of cataloging everything you plan to accomplish, you deliberately identify the behaviors, habits, and low-value activities that consistently drain your time and focus, and you commit to eliminating them. Checking social media before noon, attending meetings that have no clear agenda, responding to every message within minutes as though you're a customer service representative for everyone else's priorities. These are the invisible time thieves that a traditional to-do list completely ignores because a to-do list only tells you what to add to your day, never what to subtract. In 2026, with AI tools capable of handling enormous amounts of routine cognitive work, the most valuable skill a human can develop is knowing what not to spend their brain on. The not-to-do list is how you operationalize that skill. Third, and this is particularly relevant now that we have sophisticated AI assistants woven into most professional workflows, is intelligent task batching combined with AI delegation. Rather than treating every task as an individual item requiring individual attention, you group similar tasks together and process them in single focused sessions. All research tasks in one block, all creative writing in another, all communication responses at a designated time. This protects your cognitive state because every time you switch between different types of thinking, there's a switching cost, a kind of mental gear shifting that takes time and energy. By batching similar tasks, you eliminate hundreds of those small transitions across a day. And then, on top of that, you look at your batched tasks and you ask honestly, which of these can an AI tool handle, partially or fully, right now? In 2026, the answer to that question is far more tasks than most people are currently offloading. Administrative summaries, first drafts, data analysis, scheduling, research synthesis, calendar management, these are no longer things that require significant human time. People who still spend their energy on these tasks while using a to-do list to track them are spending premium cognitive fuel on bargain basement work. Now, I want to get to the moment that I think will genuinely shift how you see this whole conversation. Because everything I've said so far is practical and useful, but there's a deeper issue underneath all of it that nobody really talks about. To-do lists don't just fail at organizing your time. They fundamentally misrepresent the nature of meaningful work. Here's what I mean. The most valuable things any person can produce, genuine creative insight, strategic thinking, innovative problem-solving, deep intellectual contribution, these things cannot be scheduled as tasks. They cannot be added to a list. You cannot write "have breakthrough idea" and check it off at 2:30. Real innovation, the kind that generates actual value in your professional life or in the world, emerges from extended periods of uninterrupted, deep, open-ended thinking. It requires a mental state that is entirely incompatible with the list-checking, task-switching, notification responding mode that to-do list culture actively encourages. When your entire relationship with productivity is built around completing discrete, checkable items, you start unconsciously filtering your work through that lens. You begin preferring tasks that have clear completion states. You become uncomfortable with open-ended problems. You start to feel like extended reflection without a visible output is somehow slacking. This is the hidden way that to-do list culture kills innovation. It doesn't do it loudly. It does it by slowly training you to be more comfortable with shallow, completable work than with the deep, ambiguous, uncomfortable thinking that actually produces something new. Think about the most significant breakthroughs in any field. They didn't happen because someone had a well-organized task list. They happened because someone gave themselves the permission and the space to sit with a hard problem long enough for genuine insight to emerge. In 2026, as AI systems handle more and more of the routine cognitive work that used to fill our days, the human beings who thrive will be the ones who have preserved and cultivated their capacity for exactly this kind of thinking. And to-do list culture is the enemy of that capacity. There's also a social dimension here worth naming. To-do list culture has become a proxy for looking productive. Sharing your system, showing your completed tasks, demonstrating your organizational rigor, these have become status signals in professional environments. But looking organized and actually generating meaningful output are two completely different things, and we've allowed the former to substitute for the latter in the way we evaluate both ourselves and other people. The person with the immaculate task management system who ends the week with 200 items checked off may have produced far less real value than the person who spent 3 days in deep, uninterrupted focus on a single important problem. That is a systemic problem, and recognizing it is the first step toward escaping it. What this all points to is a need for a genuinely different operating philosophy, not just different tools. The shift is from task management to attention management. Instead of asking what needs to be done today, you start by asking, where is my attention most valuable today? And how do I protect that attention from everything that will try to steal it? That reframing changes everything. It means your calendar is organized around protecting deep work first and filling in everything else around it, rather than the reverse. It means you evaluate your day not by how many things you completed, but by whether you spent meaningful time on what genuinely matters. It means you stop treating your attention as a resource to be allocated to whoever or whatever makes the most noise, and start treating it as the most precious asset you have. The tools exist to support this shift right now. AI assistants can manage your communications, pre-sort your information environment, generate summaries of what you would have spent hours reading, and handle the logistical scaffolding of a busy professional life. Smart calendar systems can auto-schedule based on your energy patterns and protect your peak cognitive hours for your most demanding work. These are not futuristic possibilities. They're available today. The question is whether your mindset is ready to use them in service of genuine depth, or whether you're going to use them to help you manage a better, faster, more beautiful version of the same to-do list problem. So let's bring this together, because we've covered a lot of ground and I want to make sure the core argument lands clearly. Traditional to-do lists fail you for 4 interconnected reasons. They flatten priorities, making urgent, important tasks visually equivalent to trivial ones. They feed completion bias, rewarding easy, shallow work over hard, meaningful work. They generate cognitive overwhelm, particularly in the high-volume, high-distraction environment of modern 2026 professional life. And most profoundly, they cultivate a task completion mindset that is fundamentally hostile to the deep, innovative, open-ended thinking that produces real value. The alternatives, time blocking, not to-do lists, intelligent task batching, AI-assisted delegation, and the broader shift toward attention management over task management, all share a common underlying logic. They protect your most valuable resource, your focused attention, and they align how you spend your time with what actually matters rather than with what's easiest to check off. This is a paradigm shift, and I don't use that phrase lightly. The world of work has changed dramatically, and the tools and mindsets we use to navigate it need to change with it. Carrying a to-do list into 2026 is like navigating with a paper roadmap in a world that now has real-time GPS. It's not just inefficient, it's a signal that your mental model of the landscape is out of date. Here's what I want you to actually do with this. Pick one thing, just one. Maybe it's blocking 2 hours tomorrow morning for your most important work and defending that time like your career depends on it, because it probably does. Maybe it's writing a not-to-do list tonight and committing to 3 things you're going to stop spending your attention on this week. Maybe it's having an honest conversation with your AI assistant about which tasks in your current workflow it could be handling instead of you. Whatever resonates most, try it for 1 week and then come tell me in the comments what happened. I genuinely want to know. And if you want more thinking like this, strategies that take seriously what it means to be a focused, effective, deeply creative person in this particular moment in time, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.